Hello everyone, welcome. Finally, the long-awaited AMA is here. Firstly, I'd like to just make a little brief announcement. Unfortunately, Rastislav fell ill and he could not be joining us today. We do miss him dearly here because he is our cryptographer and the CIO of the company that probably knows more than all of us. But anyway, nevertheless, I will try and answer any technical questions from my side and to try and be as in-depth as possible. With me today, I have also Michael Loebscher, who's our chairman, also my father, and then we have, of course, Matej Koreni, our CMO. And we are very excited about this AMA. It is absolutely amazing, the amount of questions that we've had, the amount of votes, very interesting questions. And we look forward to answering as many as possible. Perhaps what I will do is I will ask Matej to just announce a few things of how the AMA will work.
Oh, thank you very much, everyone. Nice to see you. Finally, Core AMA is here. The biggest event of the century. So let's to tell you something about how the AMA will work. So we decided to give the chance to anyone to ask the questions. You had the possibility to vote these questions, which question will be most voted, we will answer. But as we see that the Japan community was very active, we gave to Japanese community around 10 questions, and after that we will also give the chance to the others. So I will start with the questions, we will decide who wants to answer, and we will go like this through the AMA. So are you ready?
Yes.
Absolutely.
First of all, thank you very much for these questions. It was almost 200 questions, which is unbelievable. Amazing community. Thank you very much. So let's start with the first question which we received from Japan community. This question has more than 100, almost 120 votes. Question is, will Core token or Core coin be listed on major centralized exchanges, meaning Binance, in addition to the Ping exchange? So who will answer this? Okkie.
So, okay. First, I need to explain a little bit. Given that we have used the Edwards curve ED448 and have an entirely different cryptography being a layer 1 blockchain, it is not so simple to just integrate the blockchain and the wallet itself onto the exchanges. What I can say is that we are in discussions with several exchanges. What we are doing is we developed our own exchange. This is also very good for the release because it helps us with the demand and supply and the establishing of the market itself, and that we can actually also regulate, or not regulate, but basically make sure everything is running accordingly, and then of course also provide liquidity in the market and things like this, so that there is supply and there is demand on the exchange. Given that we only have about 14 million coins actively in the network mined and distributed through all the active miners, I can say that it is very good for this exchange having such a low liquidity or for the coin having such a low liquidity that it is first listed on one exchange. We will be helping other exchanges, and we have several discussions that we are having with various different large exchanges and also some not so large exchanges.
Okay. So, anything else to say? Can we move forward?
We can move on.
Okay. The second question, probably I will take first half of the question, is details of your marketing strategy for going public, as much as you can say. So I will start, and after that the guys can continue with their answers. So from my point of view, if we are taking in going public with core cryptocurrencies and D apps, First of all, is the biggest change will be that the core will start participating in well-known tech, crypto, or blockchain conferences, summits. So we will build our presence where we want to get the speech on the main stage. We will be mainly in the countries where our major communities are, like Japan, Germany, Austria, Netherlands, USA, and others. After that, of course, we are planning to participate in interviews with well-known media, highly followed influencers. Very important of marketing strategy is as well to be listed, as Okkie said, in other exchanges, major exchanges, because it's also an important part of the marketing. And after that, I can maybe say about that we are focusing on recruiting the interesting personalities with rich experiences in our industry, which to core team, for example, for positions like advisors and ambassadors. And I will be very happy to give now the opportunity to say something to Okkie.
Thank you very much, Matej. Okay, one of the important things that I would like to mention is also in the marketing strategy, we are looking at several industries. The industries that we are looking at is firstly the motor vehicle manufacturing industries, ERP and logistics, as well as supply chain. Then we are also looking into educational institutions, which we have several discussions busy going, and then also into government and various other industries, also small businesses, SMEs, and these types of things. We are quite actively busy with meetings and negotiations and discussions. Unfortunately, we cannot unveil anything until signed contracts have actually, or contracts have been signed. This is also one of the strategies that we're focused on, is the adoption by using these types of industries to deploy it, because the network can be deployed and the applications can be deployed within such industries. Then probably what we were also thinking is because the question has two types of meaning. One being, of course, the decentralized applications. The other being going public, could also mean for the ARAX or the public listed company. One of the things that I would like to mention is our marketing strategies to actually the reason why we decided to link in this road is primarily because of the vast readership that we can get and the marketing strategy that we can follow with it to distribute the information in a public and transparent manner, to actually showcase new industries and other mediums of which we can post in and relate to. And also the power of a public listed company is in a different sector. Perhaps I would like to hand it over to Michael if he wants to say something further on this.
Yes, thank you, Okkie. I think it is important that, first of all, we have to mention that the moment you start working in a public company, it is important to understand that, you can't reveal any information unless it is public knowledge and that it is properly announced. And it is quite important in these early stages of, where where we took ARAX live, is to remain, careful in terms of what we officially reveal. But I have also something to add in terms of how marketing is working and how marketing strategy is working. With the release of our multiple applications and with the release in certain of the projects that we are working, we have a big opportunity to expose the adoption from sort of like the bottom up. And this adoption will also come simply because of the quality of the technology that we have developed. And I think this is one of the things that we have to bear in mind, that the marketing strategy is not only aimed at advertising or promotion or something like that and what we are writing. It is about proving the fact that that the technology is working. And that's probably one of the most important parts of our strategy, is to deploy pilot projects wherever we are able to do so, to show the adoption and the adoption possibilities, and what are the real advantage of bringing the core blockchain and its ecosystem to the real world. Thank you.
Now we can move forward with another question. How long do you estimate it will take to bring the world into mesh status? Guys? Okkie?
Okay. This is exactly what Michael just said about adoption. So, to discuss various things about the mesh status, firstly, you have to look at the adoption itself and deployment. Currently, what we are doing is we have several deployments which are currently taking place that is in a test status. However, it is not really easy to predict these mesh deployments as it all comes down to the use cases and as well as the network spread itself. So we have several locations which we are focused on. New locations are also being focused on, and we will be deploying that throughout this network. Of course, the more applications that we deploy, the more useful the network becomes, and the easier the adoption can actually take place. It also depends on how the people perceive this network itself also. Perhaps I would like to hand over to Michael to talk about adoption and mesh status into the world.
Thank you, Okkie. Just to add to what Okkie is saying, yes, indeed, it is all about adoption. Now, one has to see it a bit like this. It's the mesh network is the technology is of such a nature. It's like throwing a pebble in the water, and as it slides, it has multiple ripples, and it expands. And as it expands, it reaches certain areas. Now, one of the key things that we've done when we've developed the Orb I2, we've actually managed to get to the point where we will bring a communication network together with the Orb I2, and we are hoping that this Orb I2 would be able to be deployed in multiple areas of, say, density, and then, of course, closed environments where you would be using that in promoting the system by itself. So the strategy of adoption, I think the question, it was trying to bring it to the world into the mesh. It is really about how it starts working, and you can cast your minds back to the 94s for those of you who would be able to remember this. When mobile phones were starting to come into a real world, it was somewhere in the beginning of the 93s or the beginning of the 90s. In the 80s, there were, the Siemens car phones and so on, and they were limited to particular areas of coverage of where these phones were working. And as it went into the system where the logic of being able to communicate in a remote environment became more and more dominant in the market, and being able to be mobile in the time of doing that, this is the same with the mesh network. It will work in the same way as what mobile phones were working, and as how coverage are done by the mobile operators, and they starting to cover various parts of the countries and areas where density is. Now, that's the nice thing about the Luna Mesh. It doesn't require that huge amounts of money to be able, or capital to be able to expand. So expansion, in our opinion, or let's say, will go with adoption. And adoption is actually quite an affordable proposition in the market. And that's how we see that the mesh network would probably much faster start to cover the world as a result of the fact that it doesn't have so much such high capital investment. And then, of course, that it has a particular really big advantage. Other than communication, it provides you also with that of the connectivity to multiple applications in a Web3 environment. And sometimes we like to call it Web 4, but that's another story for another day to discuss. I think and if we can stick to the current terminology, it is the real adoption of the Web 3 into the real world, and then actually bringing Web 3 to everybody and to reach, even the remote areas at an affordable and easy way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's jump to a very hot question about the future price of XCB. So, again from Japan community, more than 100 votes. XCB over $100 a piece. There is an XCB mining rush in Japan, but the gas price is too cheap and there are some concerns. So please tell us the reason. I will tell you my perspective, and then we will continue with the guys. So my opinion in this case is I'm still looking at the fact that we have in the market really only few layer 1 blockchains. It means that if you start compare the blockchain, the possibilities and the cryptographies, you will have the first answer that core blockchain is the most advanced because is using ED448. But it not means everything. It also means that because of the language which was built on core blockchain, there are a lot of possibilities to be competition for Ethereum. And if you're taking this, look what's the limited supply, annual supply of core coin, which is similar to Ethereum, then you need to look at the fact that in every transaction is XCB used. And after that, from my point of view, you still need to know about that core coin is native currency, and it is something like flagship of the core blockchain, meaning if core blockchain will be growing every year, more companies will be interested, more the apps will be built, and tech itself, core coin is at the first position because it's the native currency of this. So if you want to start thinking about the price, just look at these facts, and maybe you will have some calculation, but everything we will see how market capitalization will be in the future. But from my point of view, it will be very easy to be somewhere in these levels of the price. Okay.
Thank you. Firstly, I would like to also stipulate, being a layer 1 blockchain and being open source, there are a lot of people that are looking into the blockchain itself. Of course, currently, with it not being on a market and not having a value pertain to it, they are only investigating the technology. We are not really so much in communication with the people that are looking into the technology of the core blockchain itself. However, the one thing that I can say, and this is why we did exactly what we did, is I'm going to re-announce the statement that we always make. We did not build the blockchain for the coin, we built it for the network. And the reason why we say that is because a network, the value of the coin itself is primarily defined through demand. Demand can be primarily on market for exchanges and things like this. But what we've actually done is we built an entire ecosystem of decentralized applications running on the network that creates a sustainable, ever-growing demand on the network, because every transaction that needs to be hashed into the blockchain, it does not matter about the gas price. The gas price is affordable, so you can do mass transactions on the platform itself. Let's just take, for example, Corepass. Corepass, to be able to request information, you need to hash your information into the blockchain. To be able to do that, you need core coins to actually hash it in. So that's one use case of demand. When you are doing transactions, there is also gas prices, but the price is not fixed to gas. Well, actually, in our case, we call it energy. It is not gas. But what we do is, what I can say is with the natural demand that is created in all the applications, and of course, when the market is established and a value is established to it, there will be much more interest in the blockchain itself, because then there is something of value which they can define. So taking this approach, I'm never someone to want to speculate what the value of the coin is, but if you have, with such a small supply every year, and you have a constant growth in demand of real use cases in a network which can be really used in everyday life, the demand will sustain and grow, which in turn will be, given the limited supply, a rise in the price. This is, in my humble opinion, I would say one of the great things of the growth of the core blockchain. I would like to ask Michael, out of a financial perspective, to perhaps give his answer also to this.
Yeah, thank you, Okkie. Probably not so much financial, but rather economic. I think that, one of the things that we have to consider is the future of money, and also the future of, where we are in terms of that, we are in an inflationary world. We are in a world where, we want to and cover ourselves from, or to protect ourselves from the devaluation of your currency. Now, one of the nice things about the core blockchain is the fact that it can only mine between 18 to 22.5 million coins per year. It means that there is a real form of scarcity in the coin. So there is an inherent, most likely, demand over a period of time that will result in, for sure, that an inflationary cover of the system to protect your growth of funds. I think what we need to understand in the world of where we are today, if you look at, what was the reason why cryptocurrencies were starting to become popular, it was because simply for the fact that it is supposed to be easy to move and simplistic to move. Now, one of the things that we've done in the core blockchain is that we've really taken compliance and regulation very seriously. We've taken things very seriously in terms of the fact that we've developed a digital asset that complies with that of most regulations in the world, or that will be able to comply with most regulations in the world. So in our opinion, it is a long-term view that one has to take in terms of your XCB that you own. The long-term view is that it will become probably a very good investment for you to cover your investment in terms of exchange of funds. If you really look at how many people were just investing in Etherium, in Bitcoin, and in multiple other digital assets which were kept simply for the fact that it had, really good qualities in terms of an economist, from an economist point of view. So we believe that the core blockchain, with its ability to reach also those people who are in the remote area, due to the fact that we are able to use IoT devices, it will particularly in a way also start to replace the possibilities of exchanging value on a more simplistic, but also in a protected way of a form of somehow, exchanging value between different people. I think that probably is the easiest way to try and answer it, from the point where we are not necessarily only counting on the fact that there will be multiple use cases. This, of course, will bring the adoption, and it will bring the awareness of the XCB. But one has to look at the economic value and the future of it, and how it could play its role in a digital asset world.
Thank you, guys. I hope you will be satisfied with this answer. Quite comprehensive. But if not, we still can continue with speculations. This is the crypto, nothing new. Okay, the next question is, are any of the early YouTube members still involved in the project, meaning Roland, Douglas, Stephan, and John? Who will take the question? Michael.
Yes, I can say that, we've just started recently last year in making Arax live and getting things up and running. And at this stage, I think it's important to realize that, we are not really at liberty to really get into the point where we can discuss, the details of how we will proceed and what we will do. We are talking to everybody and everything is still, in progress. And I think the critical thing is one has to see it from this point of view, that the project is really just starting now. If you go to the Arax website, you will see that the initial documentation of the letter of intent has just been signed. The announcements has been made with FINRA, and I think this is critical that we have to see it from that point of view, that we are at this stage still in the beginning phases. So and you should just keep your eyes open for the social media, and we will make some announcements. And obviously, the moment that we make announcements, it will be made available through our normal channels of Arax, where we are going and what we are doing. And then, of course, also our activity in America. It is really focused on use cases. We are discussing with multiple use cases. In America, we see also a huge, interest in our project, since we've actually, established ourselves more officially in the US, and that we can see also a lot more participation from the local US people, simply because of the fact that there is much more visibility of the core project and so on. This is technically, one of the key things of being also in a public environment, is the fact that, we've actually combined that of transparency and that of accountability, by way of not only looking into the core blockchain and the cryptocurrency environment, but there is transparency in terms of the adoption of, our accountability as the management of this company, to be sure that, our activities are well monitored and well seen, and that it has to be officially announced. And just keep your eyes open and you'll see as we progress.
Thank you very much, Michael. There is the question about, this question was already answered. It is about, are there any other uses for the XCB other than gas money? If so, what are the uses? Okkie explained it very well a few minutes ago.
I would like to maybe...
Let's give him some.
I would like to add one more thing. There is many things that XCB can be used for. Firstly, if you have a look at standard uses, which means means of exchange, Bitcoin, Ethereum, what any cryptocurrency or digital asset is being used for. But also, the core blockchain can do settlement. It can do multiple other things, and it can digitize assets. And there's many uses. It all depends on how dApps are built and how the network is utilized. But the network is the most important part, where core coin is always recognized as the native currency and will always be the one that needs to be utilized for this. So I just wanted to add that additional point.
I like it, Okkie. It was a good addition. Okay, what do we have else? Are there any measures to maintain the listing price of XCB core coin? Also, are there any measures in case selling pressure prevails when core coin and core token is listed? Who will answer? will be happy for that. Michael?
Okay, Matej, thank you. I will try to answer. I could say that, we believe that there is with a limited supply of both digital assets, we are not so concerned about the fact that the market will be seeing some dumping. We really do believe that one has to say that these measures from our side is for sure that we have measures in place to be sure about it. We can't guarantee anything, but of course, and we are also careful in terms of market making and careful in terms of any of these things. So we try to know that we are doing a natural growth in the market, and hence also our absolute focus on getting as fast as possible the use cases out into the market to increase the demand and to secure the system. And I think maybe Okkie wants to add something to this.
Yes, we also have liquidity pools for supply, which are in place, which will also be linked to the ping exchange for if demand is reaching and liquidity needs to be provided. We do have that. This is also why we are slowly but surely moving to other exchanges, but it is primarily so that we can sustain the market of the demand and supply.
Thank you very much. Now we have the last question from Japanese community, because we really want to give opportunity also for the other for every single person. So there is the last question from Japan community, and it is: does VEGA NFT have any utilities other than 2,500 CTNs and 1 year of XCB mining rewards? VEGA is selling poorly in Japan because of PC mining. Who wants to answer? Okay.
I will start. I don't know if Michael will want to add something, but so if you did watch our video, you will understand what my opinion is of this. I think it is definitely VEGA NFT is the answer to DeFi as to what GPT is to Web3. But what I can say with the VEGA NFT, the VEGA NFT is, even though it's one of the only assets that I know of that's an NFT that's got a dual underlying asset backing it, and one being an ever-growing one that is mining power. So I don't understand why you are referring to VEGA selling poorly in Japan because of PC mining. But what I can say is that the VEGA NFT is a token itself and is tradable on the ping exchange itself, which means that it actually creates liquidity of that particular token, which is backing the two underlying assets, which is also a definition of not just the quantity of XCB, which you are gaining every single month, but also at the same time, the price of both underlying assets also define a higher price of it, and having the scarcity of the VEGA NFT and being able to trade it, having only 2,000 out in the market, this also creates a very limited supply. And as we can see, the interest in the VEGA NFT is actually quite heavy, and it's picking up quite a lot. So what I can say is I think for the VEGA NFT itself, the utility is primarily so that it can be a long-term hold that you can have on digital assets that you can at any time liquidate yourself out of. And of course, at the end of the time period of the 1 year, you will actually receive the 2,500 core tokens, and you will also receive all the coins that were mined to that particular NFT.
I would like to continue and add to Okkie. The VEGA NFT is an entire different digital asset than that of just mining XCB and using PCs to mine XCB. the VEGA NFT is technically the forerunner to be able to create environments where digital assets of value with a possibility of sustaining this value through the growth of the XCB as well as in terms of mining and value, and then on the other hand also that of the CTN that is linked to this NFT. These NFTs has more than one particular use. It can be used at a later stage for underwriting. It can be used as an asset, which would be far more sophisticated type of asset than staking just a coin, than rather, staking the total NFT with creating liquidity for the investor in this particular digital asset. One has to look at the possibilities what the VEGA NFT combined with a DeFi environment does. It gives you a particular ability to unlock liquidity in a complete different way and to be able to be much more flexible in your investment strategy. And that's why, I don't think that there is any particular difference in terms of, staking any other NFTs, but the key differentiator is the fact that this NFT has a consistent growth in value. Is it not from the XCB that is growing the value of the NFT, but also the fact that there is a market or a market growth of each one of these digital assets.
Thank you, guys. Now we are coming to the question which was asked by Simanuel. This question has 80 votes. When the smartphone operates as a node for Luna Mesh network, will it noticable drain the battery? Who wants to answer? Okkie?
I can answer that. It will noticeably, will it noticeably drain the battery? Well, first and foremost, you have to look at the Luna Mesh as being like a form of Wi-Fi. Now, you have to think logically about this. When you switch your telephone on, there are components which are running, such as your Wi-Fi antenna, which is sending and receiving packets, which requires electricity or battery power to actually function. The Luna Mesh works very similar in that manner, specifically on mobile devices, where it is utilizing Bluetooth and Wi-Fi frequencies, same as IoT devices. So it will drain your battery, but it will not be noticeably because it doesn't have any other function of streaming, because what we do is we implement what is called type of light nodes onto the mobile device. It is like basically leapfrogging. So what you're doing is instead of just having a one way of receiving and sending on a one-way type of topology, we've actually opened that up, which is one of our protocols that we've written, that you can leapfrog the network and pass it on like a type of a hotspot. So it's the same as where you would use your SIM card to link to your Wi-Fi hotspot so that you can connect your computer to have connectivity like that. Of course, in our case, this does have a little bit more strain than a Wi-Fi, normal Wi-Fi connection, but it would not be as noticeable as gaming or having other applications that you are heavily using on the mobile device itself.
Rastislav is sending some answer to us, so I'm Rastislav saying, it will drain battery probably the same because you don't need GSM connectivity which drain also. Thank you, Rastislav.
Thank you, Rastislav. I'm so happy.
Awesome. And get well soon.
You see, I gave the right answer.
And then, anyway, batteries has quite big capacity these days. Rastislav Aret. Oh, well. Can we jump to other question?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. So from Sven, will Pink still be released in Q1? Okay.
I will start with this. So this question has been answered several times on the social media, on the Telegram. I would like to define this again as the answer. First and foremost, we are currently busy with the live test of the Corepass. The Corepass is needed for the Ping Exchange to be able to do KYC so that we conform to all rules and regulations with the licenses that we have. Now, the important thing to explain is, firstly, we are doing the final test of the Corepass, and what we are trying to achieve now in the next upcoming week or two, we will be starting to market the mass test on the Ting and the meeting platform as disclosed. So we will be marketing this, giving enough time. So we are busy preparing for that. The marketing should start soon after the AMA. I would say in the next few days, we will start putting the marketing together so that we can deploy it and that we can get enough participants to do the mass test for the Corepass features that we want to test for to ensure that the application can sustain the amount of users and can actually be deployed in in the masses. The next important thing is should we find any bugs, then we would have to fix those bugs prior to being able to release. That we cannot predict because we don't have a crystal ball to stipulate how long that could take, because it depends all on the bugs that we find. If we do not find any bugs, we will then actually proceed to going live, which is our live rollout. That means that we will roll out Ping Exchange and the Corepass simultaneously and will be released together. One thing I can say is I think that we are pretty eager. I think everyone in top management is very eager to get this going. But this is the basic procedure that we will be going through. If we can release it in Q1, we will release it in Q1. If not, then, and we need to focus on the fixes, depending on the severity of it. What I can say out of the hack trophy perspective, the bugs have, or the application has sustained its security. We have not found any anything that was really of high concern or of security breaches or anything of this. It was primarily UI UX, or it was here and there we found some people. There was a very interesting test. I think the guy that was doing the one particular test, a Japanese tester, was tapping on the buttons erratically. It's probably the fastest fingers in Japan, I would say, with the amount of times he tapped the button. And he did actually find a bug, a very nice bug. And we have actually subsequently already worked on it. And some of the bugs that we did find that were awarded have already been fixed. We will be getting the application ready for a second release in the test version. So you might be seeing some notification of that very soon. And there's a lot of amazing updates which we have actually done. We're not just sitting back and saying they're tested and not doing anything. We are continuously developing the application and putting in better functions, better features, upgrading features, and doing certain things that we can. And that is my answer to that. Maybe anyone else wants to say anything.
Okay with your answer. Michael?
Thank you. No, I can't add anything to this.
Now we have the question from James and Hansen. Have you developed relationships with the market makers for XCB or CTN? Any investment banks? Do we, as the community, need to develop this independently? Who will answer? Michael?
First of all, we did answer some partly to that of the market making environment. Again, we want to state that we try not to focus on any form of market making And the reason is purely that if you would focus on that, you have an artificial situation in the coin or in the token, which probably, is not, advantageous to the technology that we have developed. In terms of answering, do we discuss anything with investment banking and so on? There are not really at this stage any in-depth discussions other than that of some funds that are interested in getting involved with the core project, more related towards the Iraq's part of it, and the fact that the engine part of the core blockchain, which is the token and the exchange and the WallMoney and Corepay is related to that, where these opportunities are being built to build proper financial instruments. In terms of the fact that we've also started the foreground of the VEGA NFT. We've built a project that would be able to show the real opportunity of what it is like to have a proper and transparent investment platform, other than that of where staking is taking place and you are not sure about where your tokens and coins are at any stage, as we have seen in the recent critical or catastrophic situations that was created in the market. From our point of view, we believe that is our biggest advantage of the core blockchain, is to be able to build financial instruments connected to the core blockchain, as well as that of the XCB and CTN, and to create instruments that would be able to be fractioned in a complete different, transparent and secure way, and that there is no possibility for any of the, together with the Corepass, there is no possibility for any of this particular digital assets to be compromised by way of any of the management or executives of the company. And that's precisely part of our biggest strategy. If you look at the combination of how we are putting together the organization structure of core, it is focused on the community and to provide to the community the possibility of who is participating, and that would include also an investment bank who would be getting involved with us, or a fund or whatever, that there are really, really transparent ways of creating the possibilities to create financial investment structures and to put liquidity to slow-moving assets without the risk of having your assets compromised. It is simply open to market trade and demand, and the value will be created by demand and by the creativity of such instrument that has been created. And I think this probably should try to say, yes, market making is not the answer. The answer is to build an economic structures that brings the demand and that shows the transparency of what we've done and the technology and what makes it so different from the current market, the current structures that are available in the trading platforms, etc.
Thank you. Now I need to say that we are coming to the very, very special question, which we saw and we was extremely happy for that. This question came from Sushi Hodler, and this is so sophisticated and really good question about the future. So let's start with it. Will CTN and XCB be quantum immune? If not, do you have any concrete plans? Okkie, please.
Yes, I will answer that. I hope, Rastislav, if you're watching, I hope you'll also give an answer to back up my answer. But let's go for it. First and foremost, we have to look at the cryptography, which is the ED448, which is the newest, and it is also one of the most secure cryptographies. One of the most important things to look at is the proof of distributed efficiency, which is what we developed, which is the mining algorithm. So, not to answer a question with a question, but has anyone used the top thread ripper that you can get in the market, which costs something like 7,000 euros or something like this? It's got like 128 cores. You would only be able to get a hash rate of probably 42 to 43 mega hashes. This is because the algorithm is specifically focused on distributed efficiency, which means distributed mining, which is also focused on IoT devices. This is why an IoT device does 1 kilo hash, one kilo hash. Yeah, sorry. I made a mistake of 42 to 43 kilo hashes. So an IoT device makes about 1 kilo hash, which uses actually in the region of about 8 to 10 watts. The algorithm is specifically written to be against quantum computing, to be resistant for it, primarily because you cannot overthrow the computing power to actually mine and do a attack on the network in this case. It's all about the distributed efficiency and focused on the IoT devices that makes it so unique. This is one of the unique features of the core blockchain itself, which makes it immune to this.
Thank you. Something?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, I will say maybe very briefly. This is so special question because if you are doing tech, you still need to look at the future. In this age, everything is developing very fast. And I am more than sure that a lot of many other blockchains will have very big problem and issue to survive if quantum will take place. And this is very special for core blockchain because of the cryptography itself. So this is my opinion that for that is as well core blockchain very unique and very special to survive and be here for many, many years in the future. Thank you.
I just want to say that Rastislav just quickly wrote now, quantum computing in these days is not tested well. Nobody can really test it and say it is more secure. Our algorithm is cutting edge technology. You can compare with other blockchains. That's why we are safe, maybe even more than any current quantum computing. Thank you, Rusty, for an amazing answer. It's a pity he's not here because we really miss him for this question today. And I really want to say to Sushi, this is a really, really super question. And we were very happy to see this question. Thank you very much.
Oh, well. Okay, there is another question from James. So it's rumored that several large blockchain based on Ethereum, probably companies on Ethereum, plan to hard fork to core. Is this still expected? If so, will this be announced before listing? Who wants to say something?
I can answer this.
Perhaps I will start.
Yeah, okay, sorry, okay, yes.
Perhaps I will start. As stipulated, the GitHub is open source. There's many people that are looking at it, and primarily because the coin has not got the value defined yet on the market. We do not know which developers are looking at the technology. What I can for sure say is that being a layer 1 blockchain and being in the very few that are left and being the new one, the new kid on the block, of being fully decentralized and being proof of work, well, what as we like to call it, proof of distributed efficiency, this does actually create huge competition for Ethereum itself and for many blockchains that are running on the Ethereum network, with it going to proof of stake. And with core blockchain being as decentralized as it is and using the cryptography that it has, the possibilities of this is immense. Also, on top of that, having access to an ecosystem, which is an underlying factor of dApps that are already developed that could actually be easily and seamlessly integrated and be cross-chain even, I can say that to develop a dApp on the core blockchain is much easier because you don't have to build everything from scratch. You have a full ecosystem which you can actually utilize, connect with, connect oracles, APIs, these types of things. So dApp development on it already makes a lot more sense than starting on a blockchain which does not have such a type of ecosystem that can supply you with digital identity, financial sector, e-commerce and entertainment sectors, communication networks, settlements, all these types of things. So this is just, in my opinion, I would say one of the things that would be very attractive already, even though there is no market.
To that, and Jim, thank you very much for the question. Interesting question, though, in my opinion. I think what is important to answer in this case is that with the Ethereum blockchain that moved to a proof of stake environment, and it has its own challenges, we also believe that with the core blockchain technology being much more scalable as a proof of, or some form of proof of work in a much more eco-friendly environment, we are actually able to say that, the technology is of such a nature. The oracles already exist for Ethereum projects and multiple other blockchains to easily adopt the core blockchain as the new blockchain, and to be able to integrate it or to convert smart contracts in the Ethereum platform takes as fast as 20 minutes to be able to do that. These connectors already exist, and I don't know if Rastislav is listening. Maybe he wants to also put some comment around this. But in terms of the word forking and the rumors of forking, I have not heard of any rumors of forking. But what I can say is that the focus is rather to provide a really decentralized environment for those of the blockchain supporters and blockchain people who are focused on the blockchain and who wants to really see a decentralized world rather than that of a staking world, which actually in the end creates again something where only a few people are, or few organizations are actually managing the platform. And we do not want to criticize. We only say that, we are really focused on decentralized environment. Hence also our absolute focus on being able to decentralize it through the fact that we are mining on IoT devices, and that IoT devices are also becoming nodes which are distributed all over the world and with much higher form of distribution. There are already talks, I think, in our systems here that we are already much more distributed than some of the platforms in the market, which puts us in the forefront of a real distributed network, even in the beginning stages of our project.
James, you sent really nice questions, so we decided to answer also for another one question, which is really interesting. This is about LunaMesh. So, what is the range of a LunaMesh node? Will I be able to buy one, or does Core own the nodes? Okay.
Okay. Let's start in reverse. So does Core own the nodes? No, we don't. Of course, we have some of the nodes. Or by twos have the possibility, so that's why we did the sale of or by twos to distribute the network as well, where there will be an option that you can actually have it in-house, or well, you can receive it to your house, or alternatively, you could actually want to locate it in a different area to provide connectivity for someone less fortunate, if that is what you would like to do. What I can say is, will you be able to buy one? Yes, of course you can buy one. This is all about the distribution of the network and to participate in the network. Even if you have a mobile device and you start using certain of the applications where light nodes of the Luna Mesh will be implemented, you will be one of the distributors in any case, so you will actually be a node also. So we are not owning these nodes and we are not controlling these nodes. The more distributed these nodes are, the better it is for the network itself and the better it is for the reach itself. Now, firstly, or lastly, to answer about the range of Luna Mesh nodes. So there are multiple ranges and different types of solutions that we have. We have point-to-point solutions, which we can reach up to 200 kilometers on a line of sight. Then there is omnidirectional, which can do anything between 3 kilometers up until 60 kilometers in an omnidirection. We also have then, of course, with the new Wi-Fi 6 chipsets, which are out, there is talk about the ranges of being in mobile devices up to 3 kilometers. So basically, it all depends on what we deploy where. Of course, certain infrastructure which are a little bit more expensive, Core will be investing into those, or well, let's say the Luna Mesh project itself will be investing into such infrastructures. We are also talking to existing ISPs and communication networks where we can utilize their infrastructure already to either become a distributor or to be part of the last mile reach, so they do not have to put in any additional infrastructure and make it as cost effective to deploy it into areas where they have a much more difficult time to get an ROI on the infrastructure investment that they're doing. So therefore, to answer it to you, it's anything from 200 kilometers. We are working on even further distances, but right now we can answer it as anything from 3 kilometers, or let's say 0 to 200 kilometers is the range.
Anyone else to say something? Okay. Can we jump to other question? Oh yeah. Okay. Now we're coming to the other question from another guy, which is Bryn Anders, almost 20 volts. Do we have a pipeline of customers, governments, corporates, etc., ready to use all use case tech, e.g. Corepass, bank as a service, etc.? If so, have they signed details? Question mark. Michael.
Yeah, Bryn, thank you very much for the question. First of all, a pipeline of customers. There is not, pipeline of customers coming to the core blockchain. There is a question of, deploying the core blockchain on multiple use cases. So, the most important thing is that we have to see it in the following way. Adoption and a usage of core blockchain in any form of governmental organization or a corporate is not something that is done where we draw a line through the software and all of a sudden we just, deploy a new system on a platform which was, at the values of millions of euros developed by the particular organization. So to answer you, yes, we are in multiple conversations and in multiple discussions with government organizations, which takes a lot longer than that of a corporate. We have some contracts in place. We have some preliminary agreements for pilot projects and for projects being tested, but we are not at liberty to be able to reveal any names until these organizations have agreed to say that, they are doing things on the blockchain. First of all, it has multiple implications in terms of not only regulation and compliance, but also that of, the level of what they are using it for. So the most important thing, what I can say is we are not concerned about the use cases we have, but the details will be limited to that what we publish on the public media networks, and that should, just be followed by you as and when we are ready to make an announcement, which will be in conjunction with particular companies. We can say that we are already in multiple discussions with very interesting corporates, which relates anything from a type of management of I would say I can call it client management and interactivity between clients, as well as up to the level of certain security instances, and then also furthermore that of supply chain and ERP systems. That's basically it.
Thank you, Michael. Okkie wants to continue with something?
Yes, I would also like to stipulate that we are currently in the discussion in the gaming environment, specifically giving and meeting, as well as the digital identity and the wallet itself. With gamification and the gaming environment being what it is today, it is quite important to also mention that this is one of the sectors that we are in heavy discussion with. And I can say that we unfortunately cannot reveal any of this information due to NDAs and due to privacy of the entities that want to first get into proper discussions. Of course, the second that we have signed contracts, we will announce these and we will, of course, share it with you. But you have to understand that transparency also has logic, and logic means that you have to protect the organization that wants to adopt it, and you have to respect their forms of being centralized environments, or even if they are decentralized environments, if they do not want to make such announcements, it is not possible for us. Also, I would say the other thing that our team is known for, apart from the word soon, I can say one thing. We have always been known to take the quiet approach and deliver what we stipulate we would, just given of the two applications or the two things that you've already seen from the company that we have delivered, the core blockchain itself, the magnitude of work that has been done there, and then of course the Corepass application, which has not been hackable, which I can say I think is a very good first step for proving our technology and proving that we can deliver exactly what we're saying. So I just wanted to add that also on top of this, and that's probably everything for me for that question.
Okay, let's continue. Oof, I see the username. Critical asks. And now a really interesting question, of course. What happened to the 500 million deal last year? Michael is starting his engine.
Yeah, well, it's all in the pipeline. Everything is in the process. First of all, to be able to do the 500 million deal, we need to be sure that the Corepass is working. This is to begin with. Building the instrument is one thing. Making it liquid is another thing. So, to be quite honest, yes, of course, we are in negotiations. We are in the process of putting things together. There are not only the $500 million deal, there are multiple other deals at the moment on the table being offered to us simply because of our ability. And I want to say, it actually comes all from the VEGA. It's all coming out of the VEGA. We have multiple discussions on how to take interesting financial instruments. And what is actually very exciting is, of course, we are entering an era where good quality bonds will come to the market with good interest rates, and it will become attractive to take these bonds with good interest rates to connect them, because unlocking liquidity together on the blockchain and the systems of putting together into a fractionalized environment is very attractive to people who want to invest in a safe product, but still want to unlock some liquidity out of it or percentage of that. And that's actually what is the attractive part to this whole project.
To add one thing, I did say the VEGA is very unique and it's very important. In my video, I did say that. And because of proving the technology and proving multiple assets that can form a form of underwriting and also liquidity, proves that the technology is capable of doing this. And these types of smart contracts, are so crucial in the financial sector and in the bond industry and even in the lending industry, that I would say that this is why we say it is the new pioneer in DeFi. It is the GPT of Web3. And just by proving this and showcasing it to the various institutions that we are talking to, or deals that we have lying on the table, we proved it through the VEGA NFT. It is really revolutionary. It is one of the first and only NFTs to be built in this way. And the only reason why it could be done like this is because the energy fees are so low. There is profitability in the mining. It is distributed, and the core token itself, with its use cases that it has, as well as the core blockchain and the core coins use cases that it has, having all of that backing this VEGA NFT, makes it a really feasible NFT. And you will see when the market is released what will happen to this NFT, in my humble opinion.
Thank you, guys. Now there is Toshi. It's a bit internal question, but we are open to answer, of course, in some way. We are concerned about paying salaries and executive compensation and rent and other expenses for several hundred employees. Is cash flow going to be a problem? Michael.
Okay, I can answer that. First of all, we've been building this project for almost 10 years. I think it is 10 years now. So far we've managed, and we don't see that we're not going to manage until, we are into a full commercial environment and we are in a full operational commercial release. If there are, of course, some people in the world who wants us to release as fast as possible, it's ourselves. There's no doubt about it, to get to commercialization. We for sure can tell you that we don't delay it because we simply think it is fun to spend money coming from our pockets or from somebody else's pocket who we have to give our equity away for, something like that. So I think in essence, what is critical when we answer this question, we don't foresee any real critical aspects from this point of view. What I can say is that it would be, in our opinion, of course, something that we are very careful with, and therefore you don't see us, doing some ridiculous things in our company, spending the money on some ridiculous things, probably being criticized for many times, not, doing enough marketing or something. But we really run strict budgets here. We really run strict systems, and we really have to grow also our developer community and our developers itself, which of course puts a lot of strain on us. And as we go also into the future of business development where we start to release projects into the real world, where we the type of development that is required is a little different than that of product development, where you're writing software for backends. Now we are getting into smart contract development, and it has a complete different demand on also our employment requirements. So yes, I think everything is fine. It is all well planned, it is all well documented, and it is all well in the processes. And we believe that we are safe for the moment in this case.
You are satisfied, but if you want to be on a position of financial accountant, you are welcome to send us your documentation. Okay, let's continue. Anonymous user.
Oh, anonymous.
This is for Okkie. We will launch 100% in Q1 this year, after what you guys have been claiming since 2020. According to the Ockert, 2019 Corepass is in the final testing phases. Now 23.
Hello, anonymous, whoever you are. I could start with the joke. If someone says, "Do you know who I am?" Then someone can reply to that. Excuse me, listen, can someone help this guy? He doesn't know who he is. But anyway, sorry, it's just a joke. It's not aimed at you, anonymous. Okay. You know, things happen in development. If you have a look at several software companies, if you have a look at software that's being released, I mean, Microsoft did one of the worst things that they could ever do, and they released an operating system which was entirely buggy and was not working at all. And they had to try and fix the problems, but they released and did a lot of damage on their integrity of their software and their ability to release software. So what I can say is we have been playing with the Corepass for several years. We did find issues prior to being able to release that we had to fix, we had to change. Working in a peer-to-peer environment and a decentralized environment and a serverless environment, you need to understand that this is not an easy environment, specifically when it comes to finding solutions around bugs. Relying on peer-to-peer networks that you are utilizing and that you are reworking, having the Edwards curve ED448 also makes it extremely difficult to deploy these types of things in these networks, because there is no support for it. No one has written these libraries that you can actually connect to. One thing I can say that I take my hats off to all our developers is the amount of work that none of you actually really know that has gone in with the amount of libraries they have written, the amount of different applications they've had to write, and APIs and oracles, where even if you go into the HashiCorp vault, one of the most amazing vaults out there, they don't support ED448. We had to write everything on our own. We asked them for the help. We said, listen, will you release this? Will you not release this? Will you support this? They said there's not enough use cases yet in the market because it is a new cryptography and there's not enough applications using it, so they're not going to support it unless this changes. So we wrote it by ourselves and we implemented several things by ourselves. This is exactly what happened in the Corepass also. The application was there. It was functioning. Look, we could probably release and we could probably act like, there you go, there's an application. But that's not who we are. We are proud of our work. We take immense pride in what we deliver. We really focus on our integrity of delivering a real solution to real world, everyday actions and things that you need to go through to be able to communicate or to use the applications that you want to use, specifically in financial environments such as crypto exchanges and these types of things. All KYCs and all these kinds of things needs to be done. So to develop this application has been really hard. It's several years of development that came into play. But you are testing the application right now, and you can see why it's taken so long, because from the comments and the feedback that we have of the Corepass application, everyone is astonished at the speed. Show me another peer-to-peer application that can do such speed with such type of smart contracts that are being deployed and that is transacting. A blockchain that can sustain these types of magnitudes of transactions that are taking place. I mean, more than 1 trillion core tokens has been transacted. XCB, huge amounts has been transacted. I don't have the details now right in front of me. But when you have a look at these things, these are the things that we had to make sure is feasible. And to be able to release the Corepass, we needed the core blockchain. And we thought we were ready, but then we actually decided to add additional functionalities, which today you don't know are actually there, but NIST protocols and various other protocols in the core blockchain itself. And the YLM was expanded even more prior to the release, because we decided to take the hard route and say, okay, well, if you want to release a new layer 1 blockchain, you don't just want to release something similar than Ethereum. You want to release something that is better, but it can't just be a little bit better. It's got to be a lot better. Word stolen from Elon Musk. And this is exactly what we did and what we achieved. And I can tell you, like Michael said, there's no one more willing to have this application and have our platforms in the market than the top management, because we fund this. And at the end of the day, I can say we are working as hard and as fast as possible. We will now do the mass test. Once the mass test has been done and we did not find any bugs, there is no reason for delay. We will then immediately initiate the rollout process. It won't be the next day that we will be live, but it has some certain time period of rolling out and making sure that everything's in the live environment, because we have to move from the test net to the live net, and do various other things to make sure that the application can be public. So we will be doing that as soon as we have passed the test, and as soon as our security testers, our quality assurance testers, our compliance is also satisfied. Everyone needs to be satisfied in the team for us to be able to release. Even the team lead is extremely harsh on himself of what he will deliver. I can say one thing, these are his words. He says this is probably one of the projects that he is the most proud of in his entire life, because the things that were achieved has never been achieved. And no application in the world is out there like the Corepass itself.
I can add, no application is like that anywhere in the world. That was also confirmed by Google Store and by the iOS App Store. So the bottom line was, it's not, we don't say that. That comes from such application does not exist at the moment. I just want to say that there are very few platforms that try to be as transparent as what we are. We could be criticized for many times that we are quiet, but it means that we really, don't have anything to say other than that we are really just moving forward and developing. But in this case of Corepass, all our activity and all our bugs is all transparently available on the Hacktraphy platform. We are really open in terms of what we do, how we move forward. And for those of you who have been part of the testing platform, has actually seen, how the progress is taking place, where we are actually working to get the new release out. New release is out. I've seen it a day or what ago. It's absolutely amazing. And I can almost say that it is something really to look forward to see what the new upgraded version looks like of Corepass.
Now I see our strong supporter from Netherlands, Ingrid de Bok.
Wait, we have one more from Critical Ask.
Are you sure?
Yeah, there's two more. There's the one.
Yeah, but there is much more.
Answered, and then there was one more which we can.
Yeah, but we can. There are at least 10 or 20.
Did you get the license of Ping in Switzerland?
You want to? Okay.
I'd like to answer that.
So let's answer this. Sorry, Ingrid, we are coming to yours.
Yeah, we have actually made the announcement in the Arax platform that yes, Ping has access to a license in Switzerland. I think Critical Ask forgot to also ask, do you have access to the Lithuanian license? Yes, we do. So, in fact, in bottom line, yes, we have these licenses. We have access to the licenses, and we are currently in the process of the integration and in the process of putting it all together and making it work on the Ping exchange to get the Ping exchange ready and compliant for when we are ready to actually go live on trading. One of the critical things that I can say is in the settlement platform, the beauty is that anything that is settled, we settle in the country of where the license will be approved or in the jurisdiction, and that's the beauty behind the Ping exchange, as because of its ability to be so extremely decentralized built in its current architecture.
Thank you, Michael. Okay.
I would also like to say we're not at liberty to stipulate the company names of the licenses.
Thank you. Okay, Ingrid de Bock, Netherlands, our strong supporter.
Yay!
How far along are you with the development of the back end of WallMoney? In your last update, you talked about the mobile application is heavily underdeveloped. Okay.
Ingrid, I think maybe either you misunderstood or you mistyped. What I was stipulating, or what was in the statement made, is that it is heavily under development, which means we are developing quite actively on the platform. What I can say is that all aspects of WallMoney in the back end has been completed. We are working on connecting several parts of the core ecosystem, which it also requires, such as the settlement and various other things like the exchange and things like this, that we're also integrating in the back end itself of WallMoney. The thing that I can say is the next step would be to start testing, security testing, and doing also Q&A testing on the back end once the back end developers are happy with it. And then we start opening up all the connectors for the front end for the mobile application, which has already been designed, but we are not yet developing the front end of the application because we currently only focused on the back end. As soon as that is completed and everyone is happy with it, we will start with the connection of the front end itself. Many times you do work with the simultaneously a front end and back end, but given the nature of WallMoney, it is rather more important to have the back end and all the connectors of the ecosystem connected so that you can define the functionality in the front end. So if we do need to make any changes in the UI UX, then we can do it prior to the developers wasting time on developing certain functionalities, which needs to work a little different, or different flows needs to be applied instead of the one that we first thought logically to work, but we had to alter due to certain processes of the backend itself. But basically I can say WallMoney is very strongly underway. It is doing very well, and I personally, just as eager as you, Ingrid, I'm looking forward to playing with that application.
Thank you. Now I'm checking the question. So another question is from Jaroslav Brom. Hello, Okkie. How will Test Corepass App Profile registration with uploaded personal info and documents migrate to the final application? Thank you for your dedicated work.
So I presume that was a direct question for me. Yaroslav, thank you very much for your question. Very nice question, by the way. First and foremost, to answer you, the test application is on the test network, which means all data will be null and void. Which means when we go live, you will have to redo all these processes. because we cannot port that. This is a testnet wallet. It's got test coins, test core coins, and test core tokens, which are being utilized, which have no monetizable value and is not possible to actually port into the live application because firstly, we don't have access to the data, and secondly, that is on the testnet on the Devon network itself. So therefore, you would have to redo the processes, and this time when it is live, you would actually have you would have real coins and real core tokens which are there, and you would also have to pay for your KYC, which needs to be done that you have control over in your wallets, and that's basically, I think, everything that I can say to this question.
Very interesting question for me. Even after mainnet launch from Anonymous, we don't see any activities on attracting developers for the chain. How do you compete with Near protocol, etc. that attracts a lot of devs? Who wants to answer this? Okay.
I would like to start. Okay, first and foremost, no one said that we're not attracting developers. We are constantly growing the team. I mean, going from 60 developers to 300, and I think it's now 40, 42, 43. Every month we are employing, and every month we are bringing in new team members, developers from all over the world. The whole team's decentralized in every aspect almost, I can say. We have different time zones and different things that we work in, but it is absolutely amazing. The next thing that I can say is, firstly, because the coin does not have its market established yet, there is no value yet, as I answered previously. But what I can say is that we have a foundation and we have what is called the Core Booster Program, which as soon as the market is established, there will be possibilities for developers to receive funding to develop their decentralized applications. This is one of the measures that we've put into place, which has been planned from day one, so that we can get more use cases to start developing if they don't have the funding, or if they're a startup and they require some additional funding, they could apply for the booster program. Also, what I can say is we are talking to a lot of different organizations, and which we cannot mention. We're not at liberty to say these things as explained previously, but I can say that we definitely have a lot of people interested. A lot of media has recently come to also look at us and to discuss with us. Crypto Slate, for example. We had Coin Club Japan. We have several other medias which we are currently discussing in. We're also looking at various other marketing strategies to attract these people and to get use cases onto the blockchain itself. Perhaps Michael would like to iterate a little bit further on my answer.
Yeah, all I can say is that we really, attract a lot of developers just from the point of view that if we put an application or a vacancy out, it's very interesting.
200 to 600.
200 to 600 applications at a time. So it's not that we don't have any interest and that there are not people who are interested in the software. What I can say is also everything is available on the GitHub. Anybody who wants to develop is welcome to do that. We have the Crypto Hub, where we will be offering also at a later stage some training events and some promotion events through the Crypto Hub to be able to learn how to use the YLAM language, etc. So I don't think that there is at this stage the awareness is already of such a nature that we just see that by the fact that we have quite large numbers of people applying for application or for vacancies we have in particular platforms or in particular development spheres of the core blockchain, and of course also the use case environments where we are talking about deploying the ecosystem, which requires again a complete different skill.
Thank you, Michael. I see that Rasislav is sending a message. some answers. So we are building use cases based on the core blockchain, not only application and the apps, but we are currently working on core system and even virtual machine. Then the more info you'll show its potential. Now it's digging info, but soon we will do some copywriting for developers. And Okkie wants to say something.
No, I want to add something afterwards.
Okay. Can we go to the next question?
Yes.
I want to say that hope you understand that we also need to work if we want to go and enter the market as soon as possible. So we decided that now we will read the last question, which is from Ingrid. Thank you very much for that. And this is also very interesting to answer. So you are also working on the ISO 20022 PAIN protocol to ensure that the banks can use the network to read plus process XCB transactions. How far along you are with that? Okay.
Hello, Ingrid. Okay, so very good question. Very nice question. I'm very happy to answer this one. This is very exciting for us because it's the only blockchain that actually has this. The nicest part is in the ISO 20022 PAIN protocol, it is a PAIN, but it's basically what is linked to or referred to as Swift messaging. Now, to explain to you where we are, we've proven the technology. We've showcased that everything is legible in centralized environments, how it can be connected. Everything out of the ISO proving of the technology functioning has passed the test, and it has also gone through everything. However, there is more to getting the ISO standard fully approved and having this ISO itself. So what we are in the final process is we are talking to, we need to prove a use case, and we need to have a partnership with a particular entity. So we are at the moment in discussions with this entity. I'm not at liberty to say which entity it is, but what I can say is as soon as we have finished the agreement and have signed it and have presented it in the business model of the use case, because an ISO 20022 PAIN protocol needs a business case to actually also be feasible, because they can't just approve an ISO standard. So we have to have this fully integrated and fully functioning and a signed agreement with the business model. As long as we can prove the partnership, we've already proven the technology. So once we have that finalized, we would be able to get our stamp of approval and have an ISO standard, which will be a first for a blockchain to have this. This is, again, one of the things that very few people actually understand of what was the underlying facet of what needed to be developed. This was APIs and oracles and libraries that needed to be developed so that it could have the connectors, that it could connect into this messaging system, and that it could be legible by the centralized platforms to be able to transact and transmit and read and also process such transactions. And this is basically where we are standing with the ISO 20022 PAIN protocol.
I would like to add to what Okkie was saying. We recently released, or is in the final stages, not released, we are in the final stages of completing, and it is fully operational. We still have to decide how we will implement it into the software. A settlement platform, which is completely, fully decentralized, but what is more interesting is it can settle any cross chain, any cross digital asset on any platform seamlessly on the core blockchain. This is extremely unique, and we believe that this will be the carrot to whichever financial institution and or payment service provider would be very interesting to have, or swapping platform with proper regulatory approval would like to have, because that will differentiate them from any other platform, and I include any other currency that can be digitized, which includes, in fact, fiat.
Thank you very much, Michael. We will go to the end and we'll say something nice. I maybe have one idea to answer for one question which was asked here in the live chat. But as you know, we use the Slido platform for asking and voting the question. But I see very nice question from Domenico Elmo here in the live chat, which could be the last one. And the question is, will the security token market be interesting for the ping exchange? One exchange, for example, is StellarX, which runs on the Stellar blockchain. Will that be something for the future? Guys? There is a button. Michael? Okay.
Okay, I can say that, yes, I think this security token environment could be interesting. It really depends on the underlying asset, and it really depends on the technology behind it that is able to be able to match up to the security standards of the core blockchain. It's all about the ability to manage custody. The value in a security token lies in who is the custodial. And that's the big question one has to ask yourself. That is a part which Core is offering that is completely unique. And that's the critical part of making sure that that security token is absolutely securely locked in to a proper custodial platform that is fully transparent. I don't want to continue on all the historical catastrophes of the recent months that we have seen, but that's precisely where security tokens and other investor funds are at risk. And we believe we've addressed this issue, and we believe we have the solution to provide a proper secure network. As I say, a security token environment would absolutely be welcome to work with us, but the most important thing will be everything about custody and the underlying asset.
I would like to add something to this. Very few of you know, but this is Michael's peanut butter and jam sandwich. He loves securities and he loves these types of environments because I can say he is the architect behind that, and many of these types of things have been designed by him. So I'm happy he was able to answer that question. It's a great question. Thank you very much, Domenico.
Yes, it was absolutely fantastic. I think we are now at the end, so maybe can you say something nice at the end? Michael, you can start, and then Okkie and me.
First of all, thank you very much for the opportunity to have the AMA. It's of course something that was long overdue. We have been many times asked by our Romanian community from all other communities, do a AMA. But I think we are at this point where it is, comfortable to do an AMA for us, where we are really having some solutions at hand, and that our products are actually already some part of it. If you look at the core blockchain, it is absolutely a fantastic platform. The platform is working seamlessly. It's really working flawlessly in many aspects, and we are very satisfied in the compliments that we are getting from the people who has actually evaluated the code, and I really talk about some experts. I also want to thank our team who brought us today to where we are. We have really probably one of the lowest employment or people who are working with us turnover. When people start with us, they kind of stick with us, and we are so thankful for these people and for their loyalty. I also want to thank our management and our people here in the office, who are supporting us over the last months, and also some really difficult times in terms of pressure to be able to release things fast. We are very thankful for the support, and we are thankful for the people who understand that, it's not always easy to accept that we have to postpone things simply because we have no other alternative than to accept that we would like to fix things that we are not satisfied with and that are not functioning in the way that we are feeling it is possible. It's sometimes hard decisions to say, well, we will have to wait another week or whatever. And it is hard for us to talk to you guys in the community and people in the community. We are thankful for your patience. We are thankful for the fact that you are supporting us. And we believe that you will not regret your association with Core and the people here. We really try to be as transparent as possible. We really try and be as straightforward in terms of what we do and to tell, the things as it is. But sometimes we don't always know the answer as well on when we are sitting with some fixes that we need to do. So I want to thank you for your patience. And believe me, we are on the forend of an absolute new era in the blockchain where we will be releasing ecosystems and platforms that will really reset the whole way of how we will look at financial instruments, at data transmittance, about your ability to be able to manage your own identity, which, and you are being profiled, and that profiles that you are getting that are made of you are actually in your own control. It is so important for the future. And I thank you for this opportunity to actually also say this to you.
I would like to start off by making one statement. We are all in this together. The community and us. Everyone's all in. One thing I can say is that we got to see it through and we got to stick it through. We are almost there. Let's get through this test together. Let's mass test it as much as possible to be able to get it through the processes that it needs to go through and bring this project live so that all token holders and all coin holders can start utilizing and the market can be set. And then we can see what the future holds. What I can say is we have several applications in the pipeline this year that will be released. It will be the year of Core. That I can guarantee you. This is not me saying in 2019, in 2020, in 2021. This is, we're using already some of the software already for a year, where we find bugs, we do fixes, we do changes. And you'll see on the Ting and the Meeting platform what we are actually talking about. It's amazing. We had technical difficulties before we made this live stream. It was because of the OBS giving us issues with multiple mics, multiple cameras on a singular device. And Ting resolves all of that. Ting makes it so easy and so simple with the Meeting and the OBS platform seamlessly integrated. No longer will we have such struggles once this platform is released. There's a lot of ways of how content creators will be protected, will be able to earn money on the platform, will be able to digitize their content, will be able to link it as a digital attribute to their core passes, and all these kinds of things. Beautiful things that are lying in the pipeline for us. And the one thing I can say is we got to stand together to make this work. And the more that we move forward, every single day is one step forward for us because it is one day closer to the release for all of us. And I want to thank absolutely everyone involved. This is from community right through to all the team members, to everything. It's amazing to be in the position that I am, to speak to all the people. I try to participate in the evenings when I have a little bit of a break. I try to participate in the Telegram chats. I try to answer some things. I try to be accessible for everyone. Sometimes I'm stuck in developer meetings until 1, 2 in the mornings. But what I can say is it has been an amazing journey thus far, and I think it is going to be absolutely awesome this year. And I think all of you are going to understand and be happy with what we bring to you, because it's not about the value that we bring to you of what you will receive in money. It's what you can actually do with it. And this is the thing that I'm looking forward the most. You know, I always say when you deliver a project, the money is not the one that is, for me, the most important. It is actually to see the faces of the people when they realize what they have in their hands. And this is the thing that I'm really looking forward to the most. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you to all the testers that have done an amazing job thus far. Again, I have to go back to the Japanese guy. Phenomenal how fast you could tap that finger. But thank you for finding such bugs and taking the time and effort to participate in it. I think we as Core really appreciate this, and we try to be as transparent in this as possible. And taking the routes and the decisions that we make is never the easy route, because the easy route is not the lasting one. It is the harder route that will take longer, but it will be lasting and it will stay there. Having developed this already for 10 years and being in this stage where we are today, I can say it is extremely exciting. I can't wait for the day that we actually are live. And it's really to see the hard work that our team has put in, to see it start making a difference. So I want to thank you really for taking the time, also for spending it with the Sama. And there was one statement here that caught my eye, and I want to say, I agree, perhaps we should do another AMA in the near future. And I think we will probably discuss that and put that into the marketing plan also, and try and do an update call or something like this to try and churn out the time. I know you guys don't understand all the tasks we have to do in one day, but we will try to get round to it. And perhaps I will speak with Mate and with Tommy, our amazing guy that takes a lot of things. He is really fantastic. Has a beautiful voice also. But yeah, thank you everyone, and thank you for taking the time.
I just want to say that thank you very much for your participation. I see now that almost 1,000 participants was on the Slido platform. You was joined to the questions, you are voted, so this was very nice online event, and I want to say thank you very much for that. And from my side, I really hope that maybe the next time it will be not the online event and see you in person somewhere in a physically event, technology event. So we're really looking forward to see you in person. And yes, from my side, thank you very much, and really hope that this will be our future. So see you somewhere in an event. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your attention. Bye bye.